Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to be looking at Pride of Baghdad, written by Brian K. Vaughn with art by Niko Henrichorn. And I could be pronouncing that wrong. Henrichorn, I don't know. He hasn't done much. He did a Barnum graphic novel, I think for Vertigo. And I don't know what else he's done, but he's amazing. Of course, Brian K. Vaughn, I think one of the best mainstream writers out there. I think he's up there with Azzarello and Morrison and, a lot of those guys who work for DC. And this is one of his best works, I think. It's an amazing story, and it's kind of crazy because this reads so much like a Disney movie if Disney actually hired a really good screenwriter, like who actually can write well, not just for kids. And there's not a stupid song every 8 minutes. Nobody breaks out in a song, but it almost has this cell animation type art. As you can see by this cover, this guy's amazing. This Niko Henrichorn, he's really good. It's a pretty substantial graphic novel. And I think it came out as a graphic novel. I don't think this is it was issues that were collected. If I remember correctly, this came out in 2006. Brian K. Vaughn already had a name for himself, but this blew everyone away. This is just a really good book. So it's based on a true story. Apparently, when America bombed Baghdad, during the Second Gulf War, they hit a zoo, and all the animals were freed, and were just running around the city until they rounded them up or killed them. And so basically, Brian K. Vaughn took that little story and actually gave the escaped lions, in this case it's 4 lions, he gives them like character, just like if it was a Disney movie, but much more interesting characters than any Disney movie would ever do. And we see before the bombing, it's a zoo, and this magpie, raven, is saying the sky is falling. And the first lion we meet, he's like the elder male. Well, he's the only male in the group. Oh, actually, that's not true. He's the elder male. But look at this art. This is just so nice. And we see these jets flying over. Let me try to open this without cracking it. And the other lion here is kind of thinking, oh, this doesn't look good. His name's Zill, by the way. Now, there's this other lion. She has one eye. We'll find out how she lost her eye later on. Her name's Safa. And these two just have such a great banter between them. Oh, sorry. They have such a great banter between them. They're just known each other forever. They're like kind of crusty old lions, even though Safa's even older. I guess Zill is almost like a middle-aged lion. And then we meet this cute little lion cub. His name's Ali. He's just so fucking adorable. The way he draws him. And I can't read the whole thing to you, but it's pretty funny. Like, a lot of the dialogue is humorous. And these characters are really, like, after just 10 pages, you're like, oh my God, these are very distinct characters. So Ali's mother, Noor, she's been basically trying to, she's been planning a jailbreak from the zoo. And she's even extending a paw to the antelopes. And, of course, the antelopes hate the lions because they eat them. And she's even, like, trying to get the antelopes to join her jailbreak. She's got this elaborate plan, and she needs the antelopes' help. She needs a lot of animals' help. Of course, the antelopes like, yeah, even if your plan works, once we get freed, you're probably going to eat me. I don't trust you. He even brings up the story about the scorpion and the frog, So it looks like it's not going to happen. And Nora is very, does not like zoo life. She is, the thing is though, she didn't really, I think she was born in a zoo or didn't live much outside of the zoo. She was taken to a zoo when she was pretty young. And Safa, the old lioness, she kind of gives her shit about it. Like, you don't even know how to hunt a rabbit. Because they're feeding him dead rabbits. That's what they, so they miss the thrill of the hunt. And even though Nor really never did, she's still like, it's in her instinct, she wants to hunt. She doesn't want to live in a zoo as a prisoner. She wants to be wild and free. Like born free. And we have a flashback. So Safa basically is just like, I don't mind the zoo. In fact, I think I like it better than being free because what happened, we see her as a younger lioness. And basically, there's no rules in the animal kingdom, as Triumph the Insult Comedy Dog once saying. This lion basically just rapes her. I guess that's what animals do. They don't wait. It's not consensual when it's mating season. So she tries to fight back. And she's like, basically, leave me alone. I don't feel like it. And the male lion, this male lion just slashes her eye with his paw. And so Safa just basically submits and says, just get it over with. And then his brothers show up. Now we see her coming back from the flashback, and you understand why she doesn't mind the zoo at all. But of course, Zill remembers the good things, like going up to the top of a mountain or hill and seeing the beautiful sunsets. I guess they can't even see a nice sunset there because the walls obscure them. So then one day, it's the same day, all of a sudden they throw a whole donkey carcass into the lion pit. They look up and they see the keepers. That's what they call humans, because all they know of humans are like the guys who feed them, the zookeepers. And Zilla's like, they're leaving. What the hell's going on? So I love this little interesting character thing where we don't even meet these keepers. All we see is their backs. But even though they know that the bombers are coming, the U.S. bombers are coming, they still were like, oh, these lions are going to be stuck here, so let's throw in a bunch of meat, which they never do. And then the bombs start falling. It's interesting, the color palette of this guy. It's very like kind of almost monochrome. Just so many like oranges. So they all try to run to their den. Like in zoos, they have a little den where they can sleep. And after the bombing, the smoke kind of clears a little. And they realize that they're free. That there's no walls anymore between them and the outside world. Ollie's very excited, the little cub. And they basically make a plan what they're going to do. And Safa doesn't want to go with them. Safa's like, I'm staying here. I love this as they part. Zill whispers to her, I hate you, old woman. And she says, I hate you more. I hate you too, Zill. Even though obviously they don't hate each other, but they're just like this old couple, bickering old couple. So they leave. They figure Safa made her, she doesn't want to come, so what can you do? I love this 2-page spread of all the animals just running away from the zoo. Just this crazy, surreal vision in the middle of a bombing raid. All these like various wild animals running. Oh man, this scene. So this one giraffe is all like, the old ones have heard our prayers. They're coming to rescue us. And then a bomb goes right, it looks like it goes right down his neck. It just blows his head off. So of course our lions are just in this panic. They're like, what the fuck are we gonna do? And Ali gets separated from them. An explosion kind of knocks him over this wall. And he meets the baboons, the monkeys. And they're basically like, you're one of us now. And we're going to basically adopt you against your will. The head baboon even says, I'm sorry if these are these baboons? I don't know. I'm not a monkeyologist. But he says, we're your family now. So now we go back to our other two lions, and they're like, where's Ali? And they're like, the apes have him. And I guess, sorry, I can't keep the name straight. Not Safa, Noor. I'm probably wrong, but I'll correct it later. Noor's is like, we got to deal with the apes. And of course, Zill is just like, you trusted those guys? Those little bastards? They take him to this little monkey island that's part of the zoo. And it looks like they're going to cut him. They basically want to brand him. So that, like, he's part of the tribe. And Zill and Noor come up, and they can't swim. So they're just like, they don't know what to do. They want to rescue Ali from being cut. And then all of a sudden, Safa appears. Safa changed her mind. And she's like, comes from another angle, so she's above them. She doesn't have to swim to get to them. That's a really nice, striking image. So she leaps down at the baboons, or sorry, the apes. She's the leader. She just tears apart and just wades into them and kills a bunch of them. So she rescues Ali. Ali's okay. She knocks down this tree so she can cross the little river, the little bit of water, and they all reunited. Man, I love this stuff. It almost looks like the sketches of animation, like when you see the storyboards. It's such a nice style. It's very appealing. It is amazing, though, how this color palette just doesn't change. Maybe it's supposed to represent, the sky's all smoky from the bombing. And then we see the antelope. And the antelope's like, Noor? And they're starving, by the way, the lions. They're just like, we got to get some food. And Noor actually says, no, I had to deal with this one. I don't want to go back on my word. I promised her I wouldn't kill her. So they don't kill the antelope. They continue traveling through the city and looking for food. That's a nice 2-page spread too. Like, this is almost like being astronauts at a new world. They've just lived in the zoo. They had no idea what the city of Baghdad looks like. There's a lot of glare on this. I'm sorry, guys. So Safa and Noor start fighting. It looks like they're going to come to blows or come to pause. And Zill says, be silent. He's very commanding. And, like in nature, all of a sudden Noor is just totally just like, the wild suits you, Zill. And she whispers to him, I want you to take me now. So they go off together. They're like, we have something to do. We'll be back. Because it's like, even though they're so human, their characteristics and their personalities, but they're animals, they're not humans, really. And there's this kind of interesting moment where little Ali asks Safa, he's like, where are they going? And, oh yeah, that's what, I'm sorry, Safa says they need some time alone. Oh, that's what Zil used to say when he'd go away with you. And you see the look on her Safa's face. She's an old lioness now. And they probably don't have sex anymore. So they're exploring Baghdad. They finally come to a river, and then this turtle comes out. And the turtle says, get the hell away from the Tigris River. Of course, Safa says, I'm not a tigress, I'm a lion. She doesn't get it. She doesn't know what the river's named. And he draws all the animals so well. This guy should be hired to do the graphic novel of Watership Down or something. That would be amazing. So the turtle, of course, turtles live they live a long time. This turtle even remembers the Second World War, but he tells them, oh yeah, this bombing happened 12 years ago or so, a dozen years ago, because he's remembering the first Iraq War. And he also remembers when all this oil got in the water and all of his friends, his turtle friends, died in the petroleum sludge. Now we're back to Nor and Zil, post-coitus. And then they hear rumbling in the ground. Ali says, it sounded like a stomach rumbling, a big stomach. And the turtle's kind of filling him in, because the turtle, knows a lot. It's been alive a long time. And then we see what's causing the rumbling. Of course, it's tanks. The Lions of Babylon, as they're called. So they run away from the tanks. And once again, they're all reunited. This art, I gotta get more stuff by this guy. This art is just gorgeous. So we see the aftermath of the bombing. And our heroes are still looking for food. Kind of choking on the smoke and the dust. They're starting to lose hope that they'll find any food. So, Noor goes off. She's like, I'm going to get us some food. You guys can do whatever, find your den if you want. If you want to find a place to sleep, but I'm going to go hunting for food. They come to this bombed out building, and they're like, there's a dying guy, or actually, I think he's dead. And they get in this argument where Safa basically says, we're not going to eat him. He's one of the keepers. That's what they call all humans. To them, they're all keepers. They're the ones who fed us all these years. So Safa looks at the humans as basically these benevolent caregivers, and she's like, I don't care how hungry or we're not killing a human or eating one even, because I think he's already dead. So they get in this big argument, and basically Safa wins. Noor calls out to them. Noor's back. And they see all these horses, which they've never seen before. That's another beautiful 2-page spread. I love this horse in the foreground just looking at us, looking at the camera. It's really nice. So they're planning their attack. They're like, okay, we'll all attack one of them. And then the bombing starts again. So of course the horses just run. They're still going to try to get him though. They're like, okay, it's going to be harder, but let's get him. It's interesting how Zil is just like, I'm too old for running. That's woman's work anyway, hunting. So we'll just, watch the two females. Hopefully they'll catch one of these horses and share the food with us. Noor and Safa make up. They kind of apologize to each other. Or not really, sorry. Basically, Noor just tries to smooth things over. And I like how, Safa is trying to smooth things over. And Noor says, no need to apologize. And old cranky Safa says, girl, if I live to be 100, you'll still never get an apology out of me. I was just going to say good work. Just gonna patch on the back. So they chase the horses into this demolished building. And when they go inside, I believe this is a temple. Or maybe, no, I'm sorry, this is the presidential palace. And they see this beautiful fresco of a lion, or not fresco, whatever. A lion with wings. And they're almost like stop in awe. They're just like, wow, is that like the lion god or something? So they're tentatively walking through this palace. They're kind of just in shock. They're like, couldn't even imagine a place like this existed. And they find this beautiful swimming pool, indoor swimming pool. And Safa thinks it's like heaven. And so she thinks they found a great home with their own watering pool, the safety of the zoo, and the freedom to go as they come and please. I'm sorry, come and go as they please, I meant to say. So as they're traveling through this palace, all of a sudden they hear this kind of pathetic voice. And I guess this is the lion that like Saddam Hussein, like his pet lion. He's chained up. It looks like he's been starved. And of course Safa's outraged. He's like, what kind of monster would do this? And then I hear this voice. And he basically informs them, we still don't know who it is. He says, that lion, Rashid, wasn't a prisoner. He was a pet. And he lived just as comfortably as you spoiled pussycats ever did. So it's kind of implied that he was taking care of this. He was a pampered pet, but, Saddam had to flee, so that's why he's so starved. And it turns out this guy's name is Fajr, or Fahir. He says, I'm the man of the house now. And it's a giant bear, another one of Saddam's pets. That would be like meeting the Incredible Hulk to a lion, Meanwhile, Ali and Zil are checking out the horses. They're kind of lying in the bushes waiting. And meanwhile in the palace, basically the bear just says, I'm going to eat you. And so they lunge at him. They're like, we got to try to fight him. God, man. When I said this looks like an animated movie, this scene would be amazing. 2 lions attacking a bear. That's a total pay-per-view event. And the bear slashes Safa's other eye. So the bear is just like, because they're anthropomorphize these animals, it's not like he's just hungry. He says, I'd finish the blind one first, but her only crime was believing the lies that came out of your maw. He says to Noor, God, you ignorant young radicals disgust me. My dung has a deeper understanding of this world than you. Then again, seeing it as you're about to become one with my waist, I suppose you'll be enlightened soon enough. This dialogue's great. And then all of a sudden, Rashid shows up. Oh, I'm sorry. The bear thinks that Rashid shows up, but it's Zil. They used to throw me in a pit with your kind. Your manes sop up blood nicely. This bear has some pretty cool tough guy lines. And Zil attacks him. It doesn't look like he's gonna win. He's a fucking bear, for God's sakes, right? He throws him against the wall, and it looks like he's down for the count. And then he lunges at the bear and bites his nose right off, and he falls backwards out of the building. Zil leaps after him and continues to attack him. And then, luckily for him, all of a sudden, Ali scares the horses and makes them stampede. I guess this was part of the plan. And the horses stampede right over to the bear. And pretty much do him in. Man, it's pretty. You just see all the horse hooves like crushing him, breaking his bones. So once again, our heroes are reunited. And the bear, with his last few words, he says, please end me already. My spine is broken. And it's kind of weird because they're starving. But they're like, just to make a point, Zil says, he doesn't deserve a quick finish. Leave him for the spiders. Just like, but you guys said you were starving. And this is meat. So they continue to traverse through the city. And Ali finds a little hill. It's not really, it's just rubble. And for the first time ever, little Ali, and maybe even his mom, Noor, they see the sunset. Ali says, is that a horizon? That's pretty fucking beautiful. But still, this is just a slightly different color change. Now it's a kind of a red instead of orange. Oh man, I just love the way he draws their faces. They all look so great. And they're all in awe of it. Unfortunately, Safa can't see it. She's fully blind now. Both of her eyes have been injured. And then all of a sudden we hear a crack. It's a rifle shot. And Zill falls to the ground dead. They have no concept of what a gun is. And they look over and they see, well, they call them keepers. They see soldiers, obviously. And Safa sacrifices herself, or attempts to. She says, "You guys run. I'll, attack these guys." And look at her. She's mowed down by it looks like hundreds of bullets. Just turn her into hamburger meat. And so now both of them kind of are caught in the crossfire. And they're murdered as well, or killed. And we see these humans, these soldiers. And of course they're just like, what the hell was that? Why are there fucking lions around Baghdad? And they actually feel remorse. They're like, I didn't want to kill them, but they were running right at us. Where'd they come from, sir? Those things aren't wild out here, are they? No, not wild. They're free. And we see that magpie from the beginning. And more bombers, U.S. bombers, bombing the city. In April of 2003, 4 lions escaped the Baghdad Zoo during the bombing of Iraq. The starving animals were eventually shot and killed by U.S. soldiers. And we had another 2-page spread as the magpie flies away, and the city's burning. There were other casualties as well, it says. And we see a statue of a lion, and the magpie lands on it. Kind of an interesting, almost like poetic end. It's very, very interesting ending. Here we have the writer and artist, little biographies. And that's it for Pride of Baghdad. I gotta say, this is so sad. I totally forgot the ending. I read this, I don't know when it came out. And I read it last night for the first time in over a decade. And yeah, I just totally forgot how sudden the deaths are at the end. It's just totally unexpected. And even seeing little Ali get it, that's really just killed me. It's such a cute little cub. But like I said, it's like a Disney movie. It's not heavy. It's not deep. It kind of tugs at your heartstrings. And it's just a really well-written, beautifully drawn graphic novel. And definitely love this shit. I like a lot of Brian K. Vaughan, I gotta say. His stuff is always good. Even back when he was doing The Hood at Marvel, even his earliest stuff, he always had the goods. And this is I think one of his best. This is just really hits hard. And I hope you guys like looking at this today. And I hope to see you next time here at the Herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.